Thank you for joining us now. I am Frank Omalape. The federal government on Thursday announced the top 5 business efficient and transparent agencies among its ministries, departments and agencies for the year 2022. It outlined the top 5 performing ministries, departments and agencies to include the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council, Nigerian Export-Import Bank and Corporate Affairs Commission. The government announced these in the 2022 Executive Order 001 Compliance Report, which was released in Abuja by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. The Special Advisor to the President, Ease of Doing Business, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council Secretary Jumoke Uduwale said the report was released in line with its promise to continuously track and keep the business community updated on the compliance with the order on transparency and efficiency in the Nigerian business environment. Executive Order 001 on transparency and efficiency in the business environment was on May 18, 2017 issued as the current administration's first executive order to strengthen the implementation of business climate reforms. It was issued to also deepen collaboration among ministries, departments and agencies by instituting a systemic change management process for reforms. And now Nigeria's crude oil sales rose by 46.41% to push Nigeria's total export to 26.79 trillion naira in 2022. This is as total trade rose by 31.79% from 39.75 trillion naira in 2021 to 52.37 trillion naira in 2022. In 2022, crude oil sales totaled 21.09 trillion naira, a 46.41% increase from 14.4 trillion naira in 2021 and accounted for about 78.74% of total export. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, total export for 2022 rose by 41.72% from 18.91 trillion naira in 2021 to 26.79 trillion naira of the 2022, while import rose by 22.7% from 20.84 trillion naira in 2021 to 25.59 trillion naira in 2022. In 2022, Nigeria spent 2.63 trillion naira importing food and live animal, 10.12 trillion naira importing petrol and other mineral fuel, 1.9 trillion on manufactured goods, and 5.93 trillion naira on machinery and transport equipment. Despite the rise in crude oil sales, the World Bank had claimed that Nigeria did not benefit from the increase in oil prices due to fuel subsidies and lower oil production. Away from there now, the economy remained subdued in December as the Purchasing Managers Index was below 50% index point, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria released in the report of members of the Monetary Policy Committee that the Purchasing Managers Index, which is an index of the prevailing direction of economic trends in the manufacturing and service sectors, was below average at 49.4 index points. A Monetary Policy Committee member, Adeolu Festus, noted that the macroeconomic development and outlook report presented by Central Bank of Nigeria staff showed mixed development in the economy. He said, in addition, indicators of economic activity remained subdued in December 2022, month-on-month, and composite Purchasing Managers Index at 49.4 index point was below 50 index point. A member of the Monetary Policy Committee, Ahmed Aliyu, said on the domestic side, the positive growth recovery, which commenced since the 2022 recession, was sustained through third quarter 2022. And in the meantime, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has said that the Supreme Court's order that the old 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes remain in circulation as legal tender until the end of the year will bring much relief to millions affected by the Naira redesign crisis. According to a statement by the group, the court ruling came at a time President Muhammadu Buhari refused to heed the pleas of Nigerians and showed more sensitivity to the plight of millions of people by not allowing the old notes to circulate for a more extended period. The statement added that the court's ruling highlighted the unlawful use of executive powers by the president, which inflicted unprecedented economic hardship on the citizens by denying them ownership of and access to their money. The chamber noted that some cash-strapped citizens had to engage in barter to survive, while many innocent people were harmed when protest triggered by the cash scarcity turned violent. The chamber urged all concerned to uphold the rule of law by ensuring only lawful options that respect and protect the rights of the populace are considered in pursuing varied objectives or payment policies in the future. The value of manufactured goods imported into the country in 2022 stood at 11 trillion naira, leaving a 10.2 trillion difference when compared with its import component, which stood at 781 billion naira. This is according to the Foreign Trade Statistics Report published by the National Bureau of Statistics. The report showed that the import bill for manufactured goods in the first quarter of 2022 was 2.9 trillion and 2.7 trillion naira in the second quarter. In the third quarter, 2.8 trillion was spent on manufactured goods import, while it gapped 2.4 trillion in the fourth quarter. On the other hand, Nigeria could only manage to export manufactured goods worth 219 billion in the first quarter of the year under review. This was followed by 119 billion naira in the second quarter, while the third quarter and fourth quarters of 2022 recorded export of manufactured goods worth 131.4 billion and 311 billion naira respectively. And now the Nigerian Exchange Group has expressed its commitment to ensuring gender equity. This was stated as the group and its partners, including the World Federation of Exchanges, Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative, United Nations Women, United Nations Global Compact, and International Finance Corporation, marked the International Women's Day to embrace equity, setting the standard for a sustainable future. The Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Exchange Group, Oscar Onyema, in a statement noted that the group was committed to prioritizing equity, diversity, and inclusion in each workplace. He said gender equity is an ongoing journey that requires sustainable effort and commitment from everyone, and they must commit to continuing to push the boundaries of what is possible, embrace new ideas to face challenges, and for a more equitable and sustainable future. Nigeria's Equal or to Equal is an initiative aimed at reducing gender gaps across employment and entrepreneurship in Nigeria's private sector. And now the Nigerian Port Authority has strengthened the security at Tinkan Island Port with the erection of a concrete fence and the installation of an automated access control gate. The Managing Director of Nigerian Port Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, said this during a tour of the Tinkan port to ascertain the level of execution of the contract awarded. He said the fence was constructed to ensure that only people that should be in the port had access. Bello Koko said that with the fencing, entrance into the port will be restricted. He added that by reducing the number of persons and restricting entry into the port, pilfering, theft, thugs, and also miscreants will be reduced into the port. He said this will create an enabling business environment within the port as referred by the International Ship and Port Facility Code.